All right.
Okay.
So, hi everyone. I'm Pakhi Garg, and I'm the Director Trainings and the co-founder at World Cybersecurity Forum. So today we are going to dive into the really fascinating and frankly a bit about a scary topic, right? The first question that whenever I personally heard about the deepfakes for the first time, or when I actually get to know, was who owns the face. So basically, this isn't just about a science fiction movie, right? It's more about our digital identities and how are we actually protecting ourselves from a new kind of a threat. So today we are going to look and understand it from a tech perspective, law perspective, and see what we can all do to be more aware. Right. I have also put a QR code as you can see on the right side of the screen. So if you wish to connect with me on the LinkedIn on a later stage, you can simply scan this out and we can definitely connect because I love connecting people. I love connecting students. So now let's move ahead. Okay. So now to kick things off, let's get a handle on what we are actually talking about. What are deepfakes? So basically, a deepfake is a kind of a piece of hyper realistic, fabricated digital media. Now, when I say hyper realistic and fabricated digital media, what do you believe it means? Fabricated means anything which is not in its original form, which has been tampered. Hyper realistic, which is not real, but it is made with such a substance or such an integrity that it give you a feeling of 100% reality. So that is where the integration of the artificial intelligence and machine learning come into the picture. Now, very simple definition of deepfakes. It's a very basic fake video, any kind of a image, any kind of a audio that's so good that it's really hard for you to tell whether it's real or fake. Right? So that is why we have variety of deepfakes. For example, face swapping. Now, basically, what is face swapping? This is the most common type, and this is the one you have probably seen the most, right? Taking one person's photo, morphing it, and putting it on another's body. That is simple face swapping. Then we have voice cloning. Now, what is voice cloning? This is about audio. An AI learns a person's voice, okay, and then it can use or it can make them say anything at all. For example, you may train AI to speak like our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, right? But do you think that every video can belong to him? Probably the picture is of Shah Rukh Khan and the voices of Narendra Modi. So that's a clear deepfake, right? This is what voice cloning is all about because it's very easy to train the artificial intelligence these days. They have been trained on a big and vast amount of data sets which is available on the internet, right? Then we have third one, the lip syncing. This is a bit subtle one, okay? The faces stays the same, but the mouth movements are changed to match a new audio track. So sometimes you may actually get a feeling after having a very focused look that this might be irreal. Next, full body manipulation. The whole body is manipulated, not just the face. So this is actually very advanced level of a type of deepfake. And then finally, there are shallow fakes. So the shallow fakes are generally not made by the AI, but they are also equally dangerous. So think of a video that it's simply taken from the internet or from any other authentic source. It is edited and taken out of context to mislead the. Before deepfakes, before AI, shallow fakes were the most common things that were surrounding on the internet, right? Now, let's try a little scenario. Imagine that there is a deepfake video of your university's deans which got viral. Now, in the video, the dean appears to be making a scandalous confession, which is causing the widespread outrage. then the video is confirmed to be a deepfake. So my first question for all of you is, what is the immediate responsibility you will take as a student of the college? Three options are already provided to you. I would request everybody to please write their answers in the chat box and I will quickly have a look to them. First, would you share it with your friends for a laugh? Second, would you just ignore and hope it goes away? Third, check for signs of manipulation and report it to the platform. What will you do? Please write your responses in the chat box. Just write 1, 2, or 3. Don't write the entire response. Right? Most of you is writing 3. This is good. Perfect. Thank you very much. The correct response is checking the sign of manipulation and report it to the concerned platform. Now, it's actually our major responsibility as a digital citizen to report the misinformation, right? So on that note, next question comes, what ethical principles are being violated here? What do you believe are the most important ethical principles which has been violated in this scenario? Just think about the violation, just think about kind of a principle which has been compromised over here and write the response. Yes, very good. Ganesh has written privacy. What else apart from privacy? Privacy is there, that I understood. What about privacy? What's next? There are many principles. If we see this scenario, we can be able to understand. Thank you very much. But defamation is not a principle, dear. It's what you can actually do towards the end, right? What is the basic principle, ethical principle, I'm asking? Again, data protection and identity theft are not principles. They are the outcomes. Okay, just to give you a context, the principle could be veracity or truthfulness, right? Harm prevention and respect for the persons by damaging somebody's reputation, right? So there is always a way to write the things, right? There's always things where you cannot pose the person that you are, right? So truthfulness, human integrity, veracity, privacy, these are the major principle. These are the major principles that has been compromised over. Justice.
Yep, I'm still eating the spaghetti in 2025.
Now, can you tell me that whether you find this video to be deepfake or not? Please write your responses in the chat box. Okay, why do you believe that it's a deepfake? And if it's a deepfake, then what kind of a deepfake is it? The out of the fours that we just have talked about. What kind of a deepfake is it? If it's a deepfake, then what kind of a deepfake is it? Anyone? So this is a classic example of face swapping. This is not full body manipulation. This is face swapping, right? So here we can say that it's a classic example of the face swapping. Another video.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, I don't know, Killmonger was right, or Ben Carson is in the sunken place, or, how about this, simply, President Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. That's a time when we need to rely on trusted news sources. It may sound basic, but how we move forward in the age of information is going to be the difference between whether we survive or whether we become some kind of fucked up dystopia. Thank you. Stay.
Now, what kind of a deepfake is it? Anyone? What kind of a deepfake is it? Can you tell me what kind of a deepfake is it? I just have showcased you one of the examples. Very good. Lip syncing. No, it's not voice cloning, it's lip syncing probably. Because it has been trained on that system, right? The person has trained the artificial intelligence to actually create a voice which is quite similar to Obama. All right, next.
Second youngest son. He's suggesting it came out of nowhere. What we subsequently learned is it may have come from the former president or his legal team acting in bad faith. This is a deepfake example of what is possible with powerful computer and editing. It took around 72 hours to create this example from scratch using extremely powerful GPU. It could be.
Now, what do you think it is an example of? Very good. It's a voice cloning. Perfect.
That's why. It's it's a little embarrassing. You know, it reminds me. I was once in Russia. I ran into Gorbachev. He said, "You know, Mr. Movie Star, are you nervous?" I said, "No, Mr. Gorbachev, I'm not nervous." He goes, "Well, remember how much a polar bear weighs." I said, "Polar bear?" He said, enough to break the ice. It's the last time I've ever seen Mikhail Gorbachev.
What's up, TikTok? You guys cool if I play some sports?
So this is another example of deepfake, full body manipulation. So in this specific video, the Tom Cruise video that I just showcased you, there could be multiple examples. It could be voice cloning too. It could be lip syncing. It could be full body manipulation. It could be face swapping. Anything can be possible. And do you realize one thing in all these videos? They look too real to actually believe what is right and what is wrong. At least we are here in that zone where we can actually understand the simple concept that, okay, fine, we understand and we recognize the fact that there's a concept known as the deepfake. But what about the other netizens, right? People like the age group of our parents or our grandparents, or even more people who don't have much understanding or much exposure about the deepfakes. They may actually believe these videos to be absolutely true, and it may actually create some kind of a issue in the scenario, right? So whenever we talk in terms of the deep fakes, just remember one thing. Can you please mute on the cam? Can you please somebody mute the mic? I'm just getting a lot of noise from the background. Thank you.
You can start.
Yeah, thank you. Just a second, I'm having the same problem. I hope the screen is visible now. Sorry about that. Some issues there with this PPT. Okay. Now let's move ahead. Now let's understand basically how the deepfakes are actually made. So this is where the real thing starts, or probably the real danger starts. So how is all of even possible, right? So the secret sauce behind these ultra realistic fake is a very special kind of a artificial intelligence, which is generally known as generative adversarial network, or GAN. Now don't let the technical name actually scare you. Think of it in a way that a GAN is basically a head-to-head competition between two AI systems. So the two AI systems are, it's like a forger and an art critic locked in a room, basically. So first you have the generator. Now what is a generator? So the generator is like a forger. Its job is actually to try and create the most convincing fake image or video it can. Okay? And it's trying to actually create something which actually looks like a real one. Now then you have the discriminator. So this is our art critic. its job is to look what the generator creates and what a real image looks like, and then try to tell the difference. So it's the detective one, the fact checker one, right? The generator will create, the discriminator will provide its critique. Now this is where the advisorial part comes into the picture. The generator sends a fake to the discriminator. Now the discriminator says, no, that's fake. The generator then learns from that mistakes and try to make it even better. So this cycle repeats thousands of times and even sometimes millions of times until the discriminator can no longer tell if the image is real or fake. So by that time, you have your final deepfake, and it's incredibly difficult for a human to spot. Now, this technology actually creates a major challenge because of its dual use nature. On one hand, it's amazing for things like filmmaking and special effects. Imagine being able to de-age an actor for a scene, right? Or create a completely new character. But on the other hand, it's perfect tool for misinformation, financial fraud, non-consensual exploitation. Now, the same tool that can create a movie magic can also be used to spread lies and harm the people. So this is how the generative adversarial network actually works to create the deepfake. Now, given how powerful this technology is, it's no longer any kind of a surprise that governments all over the world are actually trying to figure out on how to handle it. So basically, the global legal landscape for deepfakes is actually a real patchwork. There isn't even a single law across the nation because the different countries and unions are creating their own legal framework. For example, the European Union has a real leader over here. Why? Because they are the one who have created the European Union Artificial Intelligence Act and the Digital Service Act. So basically the AI Act, if any of you have seen this act, so this is a kind of a comprehensive law that actually classifies the AI system into various categories based on their risk level. And deepfakes fall into a category that actually requires a high level of a transparency and security. Now the Digital Act services, if I talk about, it focuses more on making the larger online platform more responsible for the content on their side. You can compare the Digital Service Act with the kind of a intermediaries, right? So when they are actually making more responsible for the content on to the sites, then they also require them to swiftly remove all the harmful content available and implement clear reporting mechanisms or guidelines. Talking about the United States, they don't have one specific federal deepfake law for now, but they are using a mix of federal and state laws. They rely on the things like the Take It Down Act. So this is not a specific act, but they are talking about some of the provisions which deals with the information that whenever they spot any kind of a deepfake, whenever they spot any kind of a obscene or vulgar things, they have this provision known as Take It Down provision. Plus, it also gives the victim the that they can sue the offender for the non-consensual deepfakes. However, they have the existing framework that includes Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, wire fraud systems, right? So these are some of their existing acts in which there are provisions pertaining to the identity theft, pertaining to the defamation, right? Then in China, they have very specific rules known as the provisions on the administration of deep synthesis of internet-based information services. Now, basically, what are these rules? So these rules actually require the deepfakes to be clearly labeled. So if you are making any kind of a video which is made with the help of using an artificial intelligence, you have to label that. How many of you have seen this setting on the YouTube? These days, the YouTube is also asking you that whether the video that you are uploading has been made with the AI or not. The same thing has also been implemented by Instagram also. Facebook also. So there is one feature which is known as AI label. So you have to enable or disable it accordingly. So that the purpose is to let the users know that the video that has been created is by the AI. They actually hold platforms and providers of the technology accountable in China. That is why they are asking to label the videos. Then finally, in India, we are using a combination of various acts. For example, the main act that we are referring for the issues pertaining to the deepfake or pertaining to any other kind of a crime which has been done with the help of artificial intelligence under the Information Technology Act. Along with that, we are also putting our emphasis on the IPC, which is now known as Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. And the DPDP we are already aware about, because DPDP is set to be implemented in some of the time, in some of the upcoming months. But why we are preferring DPDP over here? Just for a simple reason, that consent is not taken from the person. If I am making your video and I'm morphing it or I'm making certain changes to it, do I have your consent? Do I have your permission? If not, then of course I may be liable for not taking your consent. And you have the right to sue me under the IT Act, under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So, more I will be delving into the next slide about it. Now, global regulatory responses. Now, basically, when I talk in terms of the global regulatory responses pertaining to the deepfakes, it actually works on 3 pillars. Number 1, transparency mandates. Now, transparency mandates actually require the AI generated content to be clearly labeled, as I have just talked about. Several jurisdictions are actually implementing this similar thing to ensure that they can actually flag the AI generated content separately. Why it is important? Just to ensure that they can actually combat the deception and build a public trust in the digital media. Right? And the policies are made in such a way that they compel the platforms to quickly remove any kind of a harmful notification or harmful content, which is under the second pillar known as takedown policies. Generally, takedown policy is a part of every country's legal framework. In India also we have the takedown policies. So if you raise any complaint, for example, if there is any kind of a content or any kind of a deepfake that you have observed on Facebook, and now you want to raise a complaint against it. So what will you do? You first raise the complaint with the Facebook itself. Then you can simply move to the cybercrime police station, or you can simply call 1930, or you can simply visit www.cybercrime.gov.in. Right? They will help you out while investigating, and they will also ask the Facebook to take down the content. And the Facebook or any other intermediary cannot say no. Right? So that is the second pillar, which is known as takedown policy. Third, liability framework. Everything if you create has only a worth if you know that who's accountable. If I will give you a homework without any kind of a liability, and if you come tomorrow to me and say, ma'am, we have done our homework, then whom do you believe is responsible? Of course, it's your liability. Why? Because you were there to come and study with me or study from me. I had given you some homework, but you have not completed it. So who will be held accountable? Law will be applicable to somebody, na? So in that sense, we have to create that accountable infrastructure or liability framework. That is why the legal responsibilities are assigned to such platforms, so that whenever there is any kind of an incident that may happen tomorrow, including deepfakes, then of course those intermediaries or those platforms, those websites or those companies can be held accountable. Now, this actually brings me to a very interesting point about Indian approach, which is often known as jugaad. Now, jugaad is a Hindi word, as we all know, which means flexible or a resolutional approach towards a problem. Now, instead of waiting for a brand new specific deepfake act to be written, which actually could eventually take a lot of time, right? The government is actually using its current legal infrastructure in a flexible way to respond to those challenges. Now, this means that we are not waiting for a perfect solution, but rather using the best tools that are available right now. A perfect example of the case of actress Rashmika Mandana is there, which had happened in year 2023. Now, what was the incident basically? A deepfake video of her went viral, showing her a face on a different body. Now, the video was so widely circulated, which actually led to a huge public outrage. And there was the first time that we see that the immediate legal action was taken. Now, Rashmika Mandana quickly spoke about this video and she called it extremely scary. Now, at that time, the Delhi Police Intelligence Fusion and Strategic Operations Unit, that is known as IFSO, actually took the action. Of course, at that time, we don't have any kind of a deepfake law. So they have filed the case under the IT Act 2000, under the identity theft and the privacy violations. Even they have also filed the case under the IPC at that point of time for forgery and malingering of personal reputations. So this case is actually pretty much important that it showcases that even without a specific deep law, the authorities can actually take a concrete action. It demonstrated that the existing legal framework is robust enough to actually provide a immediate and functional response. Right? Now, this is where the law will actually truly starts to evolve. Our courts are now actually being very actively setting up the legal precedents to deal with the deepfake cases, specifically when the AI is also being used. Now, these are the two landmark judgments basically where the courts are actually defining and protecting the individual's right to privacy, dignity, and most important, their personality rights in the digital world. The courts are now actually placing a lot of responsibility on the platforms or the intermediaries, to remove any kind of a harmful content and cooperate with the investigations. Now, the jurisprudence actually enforcing a person's likeliness and the identity which hold the inherent legal and commercial value, which also must be protected. Now, take the Kamya's Butch case. So, the Delhi High Court issued a major ruling over here. What was that? They ordered the platforms not just to remove the deepfake harassment content, but they also asked them to disclose the attackers' identities. Now, this is a big deal. Why? Because it actually established a very strong legal precedent for not just holding or just asking to take it down, but also in cooperating the change to actually figure out that who was the attacker. And they also made the certain platforms accountable. So in this case, the role of the tech companies becomes more active. Then we have another case of Ankur Variko. So this case was different because it focused on a deepfake financial scam. Right? The court actually protected his personality rights in this case against the deepfake scams, confirming that a person's likeliness has inherited the legal and the commercial value, and this was a powerful step in making sure that our digital identities can be used for frauds. Now, this is a question for you. A video of your favorite financial influencer known for his investment advice appears on a social media platform. In the video, he promotes a new cryptocurrency scheme and even uses your name. You later discover it's an AI deepfake. Which specific Indian law should be more relevant in that situation? And what action could you, as a victim of this deepfake, will take? I have already given you the answers of both. So please quickly write it in the chat box. What are your responses? Anyone? Responses, please. Which specific Indian law would most be relevant in this situation? What is the legal action? That's what I'm asking. Only IT Act? It could be IT Act, it could be BNS, right? Not DPDP right now. DPDP is yet to be implemented. So we cannot quote DPDP right now. I just talked about DPDP so that you have a very fair understanding what are the major three law under which it can be covered. Perfect. IT Act and BNS. Now, in that case, if I had to be very specific, the identity theft is the first thing that has been compromised or that has been done, right? Because somebody is appearing, somebody is not aware that somebody has actually made a deep fake of that one particular influencer or person and now using it for its own gains, right? Next, what action could you take as the victim of this deep fake? You spot a deep fake on the internet. What will you do? I just told you the answer of that. Where will you make the complaint? Very good. Cybercrime police station, approaching the cybercrime.gov.in or call 1930. Being a victim, you have the right to do this. Very good, Usha. Thank you. Now, so this isn't just a legal issue. It's something we all need to be a part of. We can fight it back by doing the simple three things. First, we need to become more media literate. Now, when I say media literate, this is more about developing the critical thinking. It is more about developing your thinking skills to actually spot a deepfake. When you see a video that seems off, look for things like unnatural blinking or inconsistent shadows, or are lips not quite synced with the audio? Does the voice sounds like a little robotic? These are the little telltale signs basically. Second, we need to be proactive reporters. Not a reporter, those of, I'm not talking about generalism over here. I'm talking about being a reporter. If you see something which is not correct, if you see something which is vulgar in nature, be an active digital citizen and always report it to the concerned authorities. Utilize the existing legal tool and platform features to report the content that is designed to mislead or can cause harm to the people. This will actually help the platforms and law enforcement agency to actually take action and stop the spread of the information. If I see something which is off on my Facebook feed or Instagram feed, I quickly report it. You can also do the same thing. It will help our digital platforms to be more clean and safe. And finally, We should be very much active in advocacy and innovations. We need to engage in policy discussions and even try to develop new detection technologies. Right? So, this is actually a great way of us to do this thing. Now, I have a question for every one of you. How can a student organization at your university can create a campaign to educate others about deepfake risks? If you are a part of a student organization, what kind of a campaign could you actually run to educate people about the deepfake risks? Please write your responses in the chat box. Demonstration of what? Please quickly write that as a university student. What will be your campaign to actually educate the others? Yes, how deepfakes are made and detect. Very good. Workshops on media literacy, right? Create short form of video content for social media, creating shorts and reels, making them aware by listen to the problems. Okay, good. Organizing a panel discussion with the experts, right? With the legal as well as the technical experts to actually raise the awareness. This webinar is also a part of a education. You people are here because the foundation has admitted or the foundation know how to disseminate the information correctly to the maximum audience. Yes, empowering them without the fear, very good. So when you have a voice, we just need to use it. Simple. Absolutely. So there could be hundred of ways, skits could be the way, some memos could be the way, some essay writing could be the way. There are 100 of things you can actually do in your organization or in your university to actually educate the people about these risks. Very good, Shrutika. So, so you can use any of those things, right? So that's bring me to the end of the discussion today. I hope this has been a bit insightful for you and given you a clear picture of the deepfake landscape. So thank you very much for your time and attention. Now I'm happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that incredible, informative, and eye-opening session. Your insights have certainly sparked a lot of thought among our attendees. Now, we would like to open the floor for the question and answer session. This is a great opportunity for all of you to ask your queries directly to ma'am and seek clarity in any aspects of cybercrime prevention, investigation, or reporting. If you have a question, please feel free to drop it in the chat box and we will take them on one by one.
Also, how many of you are aware about the Sanchar Sathi portrait? Can you please raise your hand or write yes in the comment section if you are aware about the Sanchar Sathi portrait? Okay, two of them know. What about others? Yes, Devendra, your question, please. Devendra, you raised your hand. Do you have any question? Aishwarya, you can please go ahead with your question.
Aishwarya, can you please unmute yourself and ask ma'am the question? If you're not comfortable with speaking, can you please send it in the chat box?
Okay, so Usha is asking, can we control deepfakes by controlling free AI platform? What does that mean? What is free AI platform? See, there are open source tools, there are open licensed platforms, there are no such free AI tools. In spite of a fact, it is very shocking, but these platforms are not free to use, honestly speaking. They actually charge you a lot to actually create any kind of a videos, right? Because they also have to run their own shows. And trust me, in spite of keeping them free or at a low price or at a high price, if somebody has ill intention, they will still do it. So 100% cure of nothing can be done in this world, right? Okay. Devendra is asking, okay, so Devendra, you simply have to log on to the cybercrime portal, that is cybercrime.gov.in, if you want to raise a complaint online, if there's any kind of a cyber fraud that might have happened, or else you can call simply 1930. Okay? 1930. Or more easy way, you can simply go to your nearest cybercrime branch, and if your city does not have a cybercrime branch, you can simply visit the nearest police station and raise your complaint with them. Once you raise a complaint with the cybercrime.gov.in portal, you will receive an acknowledgement number and they will transfer your application to the relevant police station. Okay. So I just have a very small thing for you all. I would request everybody who's not clear about what Sanchar Sathi actually does, I would request everybody to please have a clear look. I'm dropping you the link for the same. Okay. Please have a very good research about it. What does it do? Plus, I'm also dropping you the link for the cybercrime portal, so you can also save that. Stella is asking, if someone makes a harmless deepfake just for fun, can they still get into a legal trouble? What kind of a fun is that? Have they taken the permission if there's any kind of a fun? For example, if they have made a funny kind of a video by morphing somebody's image, then the first question that should be asked, was the consent taken from that relevant person before creating that video? If, for example, Stella, if you are creating a video that is making me a funny person, or that is you have morphed my image, then the first question will be, have you taken my consent? If you have taken my consent, then that's okay, because I was aware about it. But if you have not taken my consent, even for the fun, you cannot make a deepfake video. That is not permissible or allowed, right? So the entire game is also revolving around the consent over here. Let me know if there are any more questions. All right. So if any more questions are there, I'm happy to ask. You can connect me on LinkedIn, DM me there, or you can simply drop me an email. I'm happy to answer your questions. So that's all from my end. Thank you very much for being the amazing audience. Thank you very much, Shrutika, and to the entire team of the Naksh Foundation for having me over here.
Thank you, ma'am. I take a few minutes to deliver my vote of thanks. Good evening, everyone. Ma'am, I'm audible? Good evening, everyone. I'm co-anchor Salman Barish, and I feel truly honored to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of Naksh Foundation and the CyberShield project. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest gratitude our esteemed speaker, Ms. Paki Girk ma'am. Ma'am, your session today was not only insightful but also incredible, inspiring, and thought provoking. You did not just educate us about the legal issues of deepfakes. You made us feel the urgency, understand the responsibilities, and recognize the impact this technology can have on real lives and identities. Your ability to simplify such a complex topics, your calm and confident deliver, and your passion for privacy and digital law truly left a deep impact on all of us. In today's digital world, voices like yours are not just important, they are essential. Thank you, ma'am, for giving us your valuable time and for planting seeds of awareness and responsibility in all our minds. We will carry your words forward. To our wonderful audience, thank you for your active participation, curiosity, and thoughtful questions. A warm thank you to all our behind the scene heroes, the organizing team, volunteers, and technical support for making the session run smoothly. And of course, I had also like to thank co-host Shrutika for beautifully leading the session with such grace and clarity. Before we officially close, a quick reminder. Please take a moment to fill out the feedback form. It's mandatory. But more than that, your feedback helps us shape better session going forward. Once again, thank you all for being with us today. Let's carry forward what we have learned, share it with others, and stay alert in a world that's changing faster than ever. This is Shalman Barish signing off with heartfelt gratitude. Take care, stay safe, and we will see you in the next session organized by Team Project CyberShield. And once again, thank you, ma'am, for your valuable time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you all. If you guys have filled the form, you can start leaving.